static rope and fire snakes. Those are two words that I never thought I'd be putting together in the same sentence, but as it turns out, Juggling Calling is here to challenge all of us. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts, and I am here for the review that I never thought I'd be giving on fire snakes made out of static rope. By Juggling Calling. So let's go ahead and check those out, shall we? Before we dive in though, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecha, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultrapoi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these awesome companies and the work that they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friends of the channel, Lain Mochinsky and Pekha Pekkonen. Thank you both so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. Alright, so full disclosure here, I've never been a huge fan of fire snakes. I've definitely used them before, but they're definitely not my go-to when it comes to fire poi. Now don't get me wrong, I understand why people like them. They're very attention-getting, they create literal sheets of fire around you rather than just small points of it. And at the same time, they also limit the types of tricks that you can really use with them, and that's always been something that has made me hesitant to really use snakes all that often. But Juggling Calling has a theory about this. Namely, if you apply the same sorts of ideas that we're having right now about fire poi hardware that is leading to a renaissance in things like static rope, technora, etc., that you can make spinning snakes a much more enjoyable experience. So, they were kind enough to send me a set, and I have to admit, I'm pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to go through my usual fire poi rubric here. We're going to talk a little bit about features, about ease of use. We're also going to talk about durability and burn time, as well as I'm going to share some personal thoughts with you before finally talking about price. So let's start off by talking about features. So like their other sets of static rope fire poi, essentially these are all one piece. What we have here is an aramid rope. I don't know if this is Kevlar or Technora, I think that it is Kevlar, that goes straight from this little ball handle here all the way down into this long knot that's this is an interesting kind of twist lanyard. I don't know the precise name for this knot, but there's a little basically rubber sleeve here that kind of isolates the tether from the rest of the wick, and that I think keeps the fire from moving all the way up the tether as it is burning. Now this has two really big impacts on how these poi handle and feel. The first is that they wind up handling remarkably like a set of practice poi. I've long been a fan of the way that Juggling Calling puts together its fire poi to minimize the hardware, and this is a fantastic example of that in motion. Basically, it feels pretty comfortable having a set of fire poi where it just feels like it's all one piece. And the other piece of this is that they handle remarkably well. I'm used to snake poi working in such a way that the weight distribution is kind of evenly distributed all the way along the tether, and that makes it kind of challenging to do things like stalls. But I'm happy to report actually the weight distribution in these is a lot closer to classical or practice poi than I would have expected. All right, so next up, let's talk ease of use. So one of my big problems with snake poi is that unlike most other fire poi, there's kind of no really standard operating procedure for how to dip them. And that is also the case with these as well. The best workaround I could come up with was literally just to coil them up inside of my dip can and pour fuel over them. I've seen other people use squeezy bottles to try and drip fuel directly on them. There's a variety of different solutions out there. All of them have some potential for creating a mess. I don't think that there's a single one good option out there. I could be wrong though. If I'm wrong, leave me a comment and let me know. But aside from that, all the standard rules of fire poi apply. That is, you probably want to very quickly wring them out. You light them up, you burn them, make sure that you've got a safety spotter there with you. Yeah, I mean, as fire poi go, these are pretty standard. All right, so now let's talk burn time. So if you've got any experience with fire snakes at all, you will know that one of the big Achilles heels of them is that even though they're very eye-catching and big and bright, they don't have a very long burn time. And, well, that's still a thing with these fire snakes. I found that I got an average of about 1 minute and 45 seconds of fire out of these before they went out entirely. I would imagine that the burn time would be longer if I used an alternate fuel like lamp oil, but being as how white gas is the most common fuel used where I live, I figured that that was the place to go. All right, so now let's talk personal thoughts on these. So like I said earlier, I actually like the weight distribution on these quite a bit. I was surprised to find that as I was spinning with them, they were way more comfortable than I was anticipating. And I have to say, I was really pleasantly surprised by these. I'm used to fire snakes basically handling terribly and having to basically work around the restrictions of the prop rather than feel free to flow as I'm spinning them. And, you know, the palette of tricks that I had access to with these was still relatively limited, but I was really happy to find that they handled a lot better than what I was expecting. Sure, they were a bit longer than I'm used to for most of my poi, but at the same time, I never felt uncomfortable spinning them. Now, as is the case with all fire snakes, I just didn't feel like they were a good fit for doing a lot of tech poi tricks or any of my really rapid plane breaking or anything like that. But a lot of the classic poi tricks that I know and love, from fountains to flowers and everything in between, worked out really beautifully with these. I was really, really pleasantly surprised by how well they handle. And of course, they do one of those things that I absolutely love to see in any set of fire poi, which is just that they're put together in such a professional and sleek package that this feels to me like the tool of a professional, not just something that has been basically hacked together using off-the-shelf parts. This feels like a product that has been made specifically for poi spinners in mind, and I love that. So, static rope fire poi from Juggling Calling are available as of the recording of this video for $152 a pair. There's a conversion there between euros and dollars, so the actual price might vary by just a few dollars, over at jugglingcalling.com. I really like these. I imagine if you're into fire snakes, you might like them too. And of course, if you plan to spin any fire prop, make sure that you are using the proper safety precautions to do so. I will include a link to some of the fire safety videos that I have made down in the description, as well as up in the cards if you're watching on YouTube. Please, 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 our community thrives on safety. Keep yourself safe and you keep the community safe. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help other people find it and to help the channel grow. This video would not be possible without the kind support of all of these lovely people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon. They and the people listed down in the description help to make this video and all the videos on this channel possible. Thank you one and all for your very generous support. And if you out there watching are not currently a supporter, but you'd like to become one, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. You can do that at the link down in the description or the card that just popped up if you are watching on YouTube. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, and even better, you'll be helping me out in my mission to bring poi spinning and flow arts to the whole wide world. So go check that out, please and thank you. And if you'd like to check out more of my reviews of different fire props, including others made by Juggling Calling themselves, I will include a link to a playlist of those videos down in the description, as well as up here on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Also, the YouTube algorithm thinks that you might like this top video here based upon your past viewing habits, so maybe give that a look as well. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a brand new video real soon. Peace.